It always starts with an announcement. Not loud, not explosive, not even intentional. Just a quiet drop into the internet. One sentence, one poster, one subtle reveal that spreads faster than wildfire. And this time, it wasn't a scandal, an interview, or a leaked moment. It was something no one expected from Meghan Markle in 2025. A holiday special. A full-scale, polished, streaming platform, star-studded winter wonderland production with Meghan at the center. And more importantly, now it has a release date. Netflix confirmed it in one sentence. With love, Meghan, holiday celebration streaming the 3rd of December 2025. And that was it. The world didn't need more. That small, elegant line detonated across social media like a sugar-coated bomb. People weren't ready. Not for this timing. Not for this tone. Not for this version of Meghan. Because for the last 2 years, Meghan Markle's public image existed in one of two extremes. Either she was the misunderstood figure fighting for control of her narrative, or she was the drama magnet at the center of every royal and Hollywood whisper. But a holiday special? A warm, cozy, cinnamon-spiced family lights and snowflakes holiday special? This was not on anyone's bingo card. And yet, when you take a step back, you begin to see something surprising. It makes perfect sense. The announcement came with a single promotional image. Meghan, standing in front of a softly glowing fireplace, wrapped in an oversized cream sweater, hair loose and slightly wavy, a mug of hot chocolate in her hands. The set behind her looked like a magazine cover, handcrafted ornaments, candles, soft blankets, golden lights woven through fresh pine branches. She didn't look dramatic, tired, or defensive. She looked calm, peaceful, like someone finally stepping into a space she designed herself. But beneath the warmth, there's a ripple. Because this wasn't just a Christmas project, it was a chess move. Insiders say Meghan's team has been working on this for over a year. The concept, to position her not as a royal runaway, not as a controversial celebrity, not even as a lifestyle influencer, but as a household figure, a holiday staple, someone whose voice, presence, and aesthetic become part of the yearly tradition. Think Mariah Carey, but in a completely different realm. Think Oprah meets Hallmark. Think the Meghan brand, fully realized. And the timing couldn't be more strategic. In the middle of Hollywood strikes, shifting public loyalty, and royal drama from every direction, Meghan drops a show built around the most disarming thing in the world: nostalgia, family, holidays, comfort, a clean, warm slate. But the public didn't react with the softness the poster wanted. No, this became one of the most divisive entertainment announcements of the year. Within minutes of the release date going live, Twitter exploded into a battlefield. One half of the internet said, "This is cute, I'll watch it." The other half said, "What business does she have doing a holiday special?" And somewhere in the middle were people laughing, confused, and suspicious. Is this damage control? A rebrand? A comeback attempt? The speculation didn't end there. Because everything Meghan does now, especially something as personal and emotionally loaded as a holiday special, comes with layers, questions, narratives, and this one had a very specific one. Why a holiday show? Why now? Some insiders believe the answer is simple. Meghan wants to create her own Christmas tradition, far away from the royal machine that once controlled every December of her life. Others say it's about re-entering Hollywood on her own terms, not through a role, but through her own curated presence. And then there are those who believe she's making a move toward full-blown lifestyle television, something in the realm of cooking, decor, family gatherings, traditions, and emotional storytelling. But the most interesting theory? This holiday special is step one of a much larger reclamation arc, because the teaser gave away more than people realized. At the end of the announcement video, Meghan says one line that changed everything. The holidays are when we remember who we really are. To her fans, it sounded sweet. To her critics, it sounded pointed. But to the people who have followed Meghan's story, from Hollywood actress to duchess to royal adversary to media powerhouse, it sounded like a message: who she really is. Not who the tabloids say she is. Not who the royals want the world to believe she is. Not who social media decided she is, but who she believes herself to be. So naturally, people began digging. In the first leaked behind-the-scenes photo, Meghan is seen on set designing ornaments based on women who inspired her. In another, she's talking to a small choir. In a third, she's in the kitchen stirring something in a pot while laughing with a guest whose face is blurred out. Rumor says she's invited several high-profile women activists, entrepreneurs, actresses to join the special for intimate conversations about family, culture, healing, and traditions. And the biggest rumor? Taylor Swift was invited. No confirmation, no denial, just a rumor strong enough to shake the internet. Then there's the other twist, the royal family. Because Meghan Markle releasing a holiday special means she is entering the one season the British monarchy guards more fiercely than any other. Christmas is their sacred PR space. Their photos, their speeches, their traditions are broadcast globally. Every year, the royal Christmas message sets the tone for how the Windsors want the world to see them. So, Meghan releasing her own holiday-themed show on Netflix, the same platform where she and Harry released their explosive docuseries, was interpreted by some outlets as symbolic. As if she is saying, "You have your Christmas, I'll make my own." And that's exactly when the media war began. British tabloids published 8 articles within 24 hours. Headlines like, "Meghan's holiday grab, trying to outshine the firm? Royal experts alarmed. Meghan's Christmas show, a brazen move. Palace insiders concerned she's using holidays for attention." Meanwhile, American media approached it differently. Meghan brings warmth to Netflix this December. A holiday special with Markle's most personal project. Yet, is Meghan entering her Oprah era? 2 countries, 2 narratives, 1 woman standing in the middle. This contrast created the perfect storm. Suddenly, every talk show, panel, and entertainment channel had an opinion. Some called it smart branding, others called it desperate. Some praised her for moving forward, others mocked the timing. But one thing became clear: whether people loved her or hated her, everyone was talking. And for Meghan, that is not a coincidence. That is strategy. But the biggest shock of all came from a new leak. A small excerpt from the special. In the clip, Meghan sits alone in a room filled with soft golden lights. She says, "There were years when the holidays didn't feel like home, so I decided to make a new one." That single line reignited the entire royal debate overnight. Some said it was a swipe at the monarchy. Others said it was her reclaiming her voice. But everyone agreed on one thing: this holiday special is not fluff. It's narrative, it's messaging, it's personal. And while fans discussed the aesthetics, the guests, the recipes, and the cozy vibes, insiders are discussing something much deeper. Because according to sources at Netflix, this is not the last Meghan project this season. This special is just the beginning. And the real story, the real reveal, the real shift. The closer the release date came, the louder the conversations grew. The holiday special hadn't even aired yet, but it was already functioning like a mirror, reflecting back people's hopes, suspicions, judgments, biases, and projections. Some believe this was Meghan's re-entry into Hollywood with grace and dignity. Others insisted it was a manipulative PR move disguised in cinnamon candles and gold lighting. And yet, those arguing the loudest seemed to forget one detail. Almost nobody actually knew what was in the final cut. Because while leaks offered glimpses, and insiders dropped subtle clues, the people who truly understood the tone of the special were the ones who were closest to Meghan. And their comments began painting a far more layered picture, one that made the internet lean forward. A camera operator described Meghan's presence on set as something unusual. "She wasn't performing," he said. "She was curating emotion, not scripting it, guiding it." That idea stuck with me. Guiding emotion, not forcing it, not manufacturing it, not pleading for it, but gently steering a feeling the way an artist moves a brush. And that became clearer when whispers about the final scene began emerging. According to 2 separate crew members who didn't know they were describing the same thing, the holiday special ends not with a party, not with decor, not with glamour, but with silence. Meghan sits alone in a softly lit room surrounded by candles, some flickering, some melting down to the wick. She's writing something on a card, a holiday message, people assumed, but then she pauses, looks into the distance, and whispers something that wasn't scripted. something that made the director signal the crew to keep rolling. It's strange how peace feels earned. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't emotional, it wasn't explosive, but it was real. And that authenticity, however small, is something people will cling to when the special airs. Because for years, Meghan's critics have said everything she does is calculated, while her supporters argue everything she does is survival. But in that small moment, a whisper not meant to be a statement, the truth feels more complicated. Maybe she's a little of both. Maybe she's neither. Maybe she's just tired. But that isn't even the part that sent the internet spiraling. What set social media on fire was the rumor swirling around the special's secret cameo. At first, people assumed it might be Serena Williams, considering her long friendship with the couple. Then speculation shifted to Oprah, the queen of curated vulnerability. Some even floated the idea of Beyoncé after Meghan was spotted in New York during a private event attended by several A-list names. But none of those stayed in the conversation once one particular name leaked. And when it did, the reaction wasn't just shock, it was disbelief. The rumored guest was Doria Ragland, Meghan's mother. Now, on the surface, that may not feel shocking. After all, Doria has been a quiet constant in Meghan's life, a stabilizing presence untouched by scandals. But that's exactly why her involvement became news. Doria has always kept her distance from Meghan's public projects. She's never been a prop, never been a soundbite, never been a narrative tool. She stays offline, stays out of headlines, stays grounded. So when leaks suggested she filmed a brief conversation segment with Meghan, social media erupted. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was unexpected. And because Doria represents something people rarely see anymore: authenticity that hasn't been packaged, a love that hasn't been monetized, a presence that feels like history and healing at the same time. But here's the twist. Insiders insist the cameo isn't emotional. It's understated, quiet. Doria doesn't give speeches, she doesn't tell stories. She sits beside Meghan, sipping tea in a small, warmly lit kitchen, and offers a single piece of advice captured on camera. One crew member overheard her say, "Holidays are for remembering who you are, not who people say you are." That line alone will blow up across platforms, not because it's dramatic, but because it lands. Because it speaks to Meghan's reality. A woman dissected endlessly by strangers, suddenly sitting across from the one person whose words aren't filtered through fame. It's a reminder of something grounded, something unedited. But what really ignited the firestorm wasn't the cameo. It was the palace's reaction to it, or rather, their attempt to avoid reacting. When reporters caught wind of the special's release date, royal correspondents began asking whether Meghan had informed any senior royal family member beforehand. At first, sources from Windsor declined to comment. Then, someone, likely a junior aide, gave a small yet telling answer: "We are not involved in her professional decisions." It not beast to the bitterty, it sounded polite, almost neutral, but the phrasing "not involved" carried weight. It made the internet interpret it as distance, as disapproval, as a reminder that Meghan's world and the royal world now exist on separate timelines. Yet the real headline came 2 days later. A senior palace source whispered to a British tabloid that the timing of Meghan's special, releasing it so close to the annual royal holiday broadcast, was unfortunate. That single word became headline fuel. Unfortunate. As if Meghan's holiday special was stepping onto royal territory. As if a woman lighting candles and baking cookies was somehow a threat to a centuries-old tradition. For a moment, the internet split again, royal supporters calling it disrespectful, Meghan supporters calling it coincidence, and neutral viewers calling it unnecessary drama. But the palace's discomfort didn't end there. According to insiders, a royal advisor raised concerns that Meghan's project could overshadow the monarchy's seasonal messaging. A holiday special overshadowing the king? The idea itself fueled memes, jokes, and commentary worldwide. But beneath the humor lived a deeper truth. The monarchy is increasingly aware that Meghan's influence still commands global attention, whether they like it or not. And Meghan, intentionally or not, knows how to use timing. Not as a weapon, not as defiance, but as strategy. She understands the rhythm of headlines. She understands December belongs to emotion. And she understands that people will always click on a story about her, good or bad. But the real shock came from Hollywood, not the palace. Because industry insiders began framing Meghan's holiday special differently. They weren't calling it a comeback. They weren't calling it a rebrand. They were calling it a pilot, a test run, the first step in something bigger. Specifically, sources from Netflix claim this special may be tied to a future project. Meghan is quietly developing a longer-form lifestyle series, blending mindfulness, culture, cooking, interior design, and personal storytelling. Something in the vein of home-style documentaries, but with Meghan's emotional imprint layered throughout. Not gossip, not scandal, not royal drama, a soft power identity shift. One producer described it as Martha Stewart meets Oprah meets California spiritualism. And whether people like Meghan or not, that combination is powerful, monetizable, marketable, and globally appealing. But there's one more twist, one that hasn't hit the press yet, but insiders are whispering. Meghan's holiday special may include a subtle acknowledgement of everything that's happened the past few years. The interviews, the criticism, the isolation, the public unraveling, the Hollywood friction, all wrapped into a single closing message. According to someone who saw a rough cut of the finale, Meghan ends the special not by looking into the camera, but by looking out a window at falling lights strung across a patio. She says softly, almost to herself, "This year I'm choosing joy even if it has to be built from the ground up." And then the screen fades to black. No dramatic music, no emotional monologue, just quiet. A quiet that says more than any interview. A quiet that hints she's done explaining herself. A quiet that signals a new version of her stepping into the world, not defensive, not desperate, not reactive, just intentional. And maybe that's why the palace feels uneasy. Maybe that's why Hollywood feels threatened. Maybe that's why social media can't stop debating it. Because this special isn't about Christmas. It's about control, about reclaiming a narrative, about showing the world that the Meghan they've argued about isn't the Meghan she wants to be anymore. It's her soft reset, her quiet comeback, her holiday reclamation. And when it drops, whether people love it or hate it, one thing is certain: everyone will be watching. The strangest thing about Meghan Markle's holiday special isn't the timing, the platform, or even the reactions. It's the quiet shift happening under the surface, something subtle, almost invisible, unless you're paying attention. Because while the internet argues about intention and the media picks apart every screenshot, the people closest to the production say something else entirely. They claim Meghan isn't just making a holiday special. She's telling a story, her story, but not in the explosive, confessional tone of her past interviews. Not through tears or accusations or emotional retellings. This time, she's speaking through symbolism, through choices, through curated warmth. One producer described it privately like this: "She's building a world she wished she had." Those words stayed with me. Because when you think about Meghan's life, the roles she played, the expectations placed on her, the scandals she got pulled into, there's something heartbreaking in the idea of her constructing a holiday from scratch. Not a royal Christmas, not a Hollywood one, a handmade one, a deliberate one. And that's where section 2 of this story begins. Not with the announcement, not with the backlash, but with what the special actually contains. Because the more details leaked from the set, the more obvious it became that this wasn't a standard holiday TV show. It was curated like a memoir disguised as a cozy celebration. One of the earliest leaks came from an extra who worked on the set for 2 days. She described a scene where Meghan is shown decorating a table, arranging place settings one by one. Each plate, she said, represented a woman who influenced Meghan's life: teachers, mentors, friends, even strangers whose stories shaped her. But what struck the extra wasn't the design. It was the commentary. Meghan, recorded in voiceover, says something soft but sharp. "Some seats at the table are missing. Some I removed. Some were never mine to begin with." Immediately, speculation exploded. Was she talking about the royal family? Was she referencing her own father and sister? Was this a subtle nod to the people she loved but lost? Or did she simply mean life changes? No one could tell. And that ambiguity was deliberate. This special wasn't made to clarify things. It was made to make people feel something: nostalgia, hope, longing, curiosity, warmth, maybe even sadness. The duality was intentional, comforting visuals paired with layered commentary. But the part that truly stunned insiders came from a second scene, one shot at dusk in a beautifully lit backyard. Meghan stands by a fire pit, placing handwritten notes into the flames. Each one, she says, contains something she's letting go of. The extra who leaked it said the energy on set shifted entirely during this moment. The chatter stopped. The crew stepped back. The director told everyone to keep rolling no matter what. Meghan stood there, calm and composed, her silhouette flickering in golden firelight, and said, "There's freedom in release. Sometimes what we burn teaches us more than what we keep." Again, the internet erupted. Was she talking about the palace? About old friendships? About her public image? About the relentless criticism? Nobody knew. And that's exactly why it worked. Because while the royal family makes statements through protocol and polished speeches, Meghan's approach has always been emotional storytelling. She doesn't speak in bullet points. She speaks in metaphors. But the most interesting part of this entire production isn't the content itself, it's the reaction from inside Hollywood. And that's where things get really complicated. Because while some celebrities applauded Meghan for creating something warm and uplifting, others questioned her motives. One anonymous A-list actress said, "She's trying to Oprah herself too fast. Hollywood doesn't like that." This comment spread like wildfire because it revealed something deeper. Meghan's special isn't happening in a vacuum. It's happening in a competitive industry where everyone is watching everyone else. And when you're married to a prince, when your life became a global spectacle, when your name trends whether you speak or not, every move becomes analyzed as a power play. Entertainment insiders say Netflix is treating the holiday special as a potential brand relaunch. A senior director at the platform allegedly said, "This could be Meghan's transformation moment if the public receives it well." Notice the wording, transformation moment. That means they're not framing this as fun holiday content. They're framing it as Meghan stepping into a new version of herself. But here's where the tension skyrockets: the Kardashians. Because while Meghan is preparing a heartfelt holiday special, the fallout from the Kris Jenner birthday party photo deletion still hasn't cooled. And entertainment reporters see the timing as no coincidence. One tabloid wrote, "Meghan is reclaiming the narrative from Hollywood's most powerful family." Another headline said, "From Kim's anger to Meghan's holiday rebrand, this is a chess match." It sounds dramatic, almost exaggerated, but Hollywood insiders insist this tension is real. The Kardashians control image like a machine. Deleting photos publicly is not a mistake. It's a statement. And Meghan launching a warm, polished, heavily produced holiday special immediately after that incident widens the divide. Some believe Meghan's team doesn't want her aligned with the Kardashian ecosystem at all. They want her positioned above it, more elegant, more intentional, more narrative-driven, more purpose-oriented. Others say she's trying to pull away from reality show adjacency and lean into global lifestyle branding. Meanwhile, Kim Kardashian reportedly feels the Sussexes broke an unspoken Hollywood code. If you appear at a celebrity event, you accept the photos that come with it. Removing them is seen as controlling something only the Kardashians themselves usually do. So, when Meghan drops a holiday special that positions her as soft, gentle, warm, and family-centered right after a rumored Hollywood clash, it creates two competing images. Hollywood's most powerful influencer family versus the Duchess who built a media empire out of reinvention. This is where the story becomes bigger than a holiday show. This is a narrative about image power. Who controls the spotlight? Who shapes the conversation? Who owns December? But let's step back into the special itself, because there's one part viewers don't know about yet. Something quietly confirmed by a crew member who worked on the production for 8 days. She said there's a segment in the special where Meghan reads letters sent to her by young girls around the world about confidence, identity, mental health, belonging. The crew member claimed Meghan cried during filming, but insisted her tears weren't dramatic or performative. They were small, quiet, the kind that come and go before anyone notices. And the voiceover during that scene? It's possibly the most personal line in the entire special. Meghan says, "You don't need a palace to feel seen. Love doesn't need a title." Whether that was meant as a soft message, a subtle statement, or simply a personal reflection, the internet won't care. It will become a headline, a debate, a clip that gets replayed everywhere. Because that's how Meghan works, intentionally or unintentionally. Her words slip into conversations like sparks, tiny at first, then suddenly everywhere. Meanwhile, Netflix analysts predict this special could become one of the platform's most watched December releases. Not because of holiday joy, but because people can't resist watching someone they've spent years arguing about. For fans, it's a chance to see her in a softer light. For critics, it's an opportunity to pick apart everything she does. For the curious, it's a spectacle, a real-life character arc unfolding on screen. But the most compelling part is what the special doesn't show. Because while Meghan stands on set creating perfect holiday visuals, her real life off-camera is far more complicated. Between royal tensions, Hollywood politics, public opinion swings, and constant scrutiny, this special isn't just entertainment, it's escape. Not staged escape. Emotional escape. A chance to create a world where things are warm, safe, predictable, peaceful, even if only for an hour. And that's why this special matters more than the internet realizes. Because when Meghan invites viewers into her holiday celebration, she's not just sharing seasonal joy, she's showing the world a version of herself she's always been chasing. One that doesn't need validation from royals, approvals from Hollywood, or permission from anyone. But there's still one more layer left, the one no one sees coming. Because behind the scenes of this special lies a twist, a cameo, a guest appearance, someone whose name hasn't leaked yet. And that one surprise is what turns this from a cozy holiday special into a cultural moment.